wonder if I should go check for some secret doorways in my basement. Barbarian is the newest horror movie from 20th Century Studios, and it stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. It tells the story of a woman staying at an Airbnb discovering that the house that she has rented is not what it seems. I mean, talk about a simple plot description, and that is all you should know going into this movie, because I would highly suggest going in blind. For me, I wasn't really looking forward to this movie, but then, as of recently, I started hearing little whispers here and there, and then it started to ramp up closer and closer to it releasing this weekend. People saying it's a wild horror movie and it's a lot of fun. And here I am, I listen to the people, and overall Barbarian is a crazy ride. It's a fun horror movie, not perfect, but it's bonkers. Now, Barbarian starts off slow. The movie, basically for the entire first act, it sets up characters. It obviously sets up the story. At first, I didn't really know what people were talking about when they were saying this was like a crazy movie. Then when our lead character, played by Georgina Campbell, when she goes into the basement, that's where stuff starts to get crazy. And that's all you should know going into this movie, because, again, go into it as blind as possible, because I feel that would just add to the experience overall. But let's talk about that protagonist, played by Georgina Campbell. She is fairly dumb, but without her and her dumb decisions, the movie doesn't really go anywhere. But if it weren't for her making these dumb decisions like we often see in horror movies with our lead characters, the movie wouldn't really have happened. But I wanted to put that out there. And my other nitpick with the movie, we'll get our nitpicks out of the way first. I think the movie's a little messy. After the first act ends, there's a big shift that I don't really think anyone could have seen coming. And then it happens again as you get into the third act. There's another shift. Now these shifts set up the lore, the world of Barbarian, which I appreciated that we got that. But it obviously starts to open up the story, open up the movie, and going to different characters, going to different time periods as well. And at times it can feel like a little bit of a jumbled mess. It's not that big of a problem with the movie, in my opinion. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But what Barbarian does so well is, one, it is just so wholly original. One big word to describe this movie is unpredictable. I had no clue where it was going, and again, that just adds to the overall enjoyability factor. Oftentimes we get cookie cutter, predictable horror movies, and when you stumble across something like Barbarian that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, keep you guessing, keep you wondering what's really going on, that's something to applaud it for. I have to give major props to writer and director Zach Kreger for just creating such an original movie. It's very similar to last year's Malignant, and that's a movie that I didn't love necessarily, but it had a lot of crazy factors to it, and you didn't really know where it was going, and it has that big twist, which I won't spoil. A lot of people are making this comparison. Barbarian is kind of like Malignant in that way, that it's just unpredictable. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was sitting in the theater, and there's a couple moments that had me going, what the f***? My jaw was damn near on the floor. It's just weird in that sense too. It's pretty gross at times. It gets very violent towards the end. It's a wild ass ride. That is the big 3 words that would describe it. Wild ass ride. Now if I were to just get into another issue I have with the movie, and that's going back to the characters. The characters, not the best. When it comes to our lead character played by Campbell and her development, there isn't really much of it. We know that she is here for a reason, I'll just say that. She's obviously renting this Airbnb for a reason. And we get that, and that's in the first act. But then from there, the movie obviously takes a different turn, so you don't get much time for development either. There's also Justin Long's character, who is pretty unlikable. I see a lot of people having issues with his character. Personally, it didn't bother me all too much. It actually added a couple funny factors to the movie too. The movie is kind of funny too. Justin Long's character is a bad human being. He's not a good guy. And they kind of play into an arc for him towards the end. They have a couple moments where it connects back to an earlier scene, but it does feel fairly rushed. Then you have Bill Skarsgård's character, who's kind of just there. As for development, there's not much for his character either. But when it comes down to it, Barbarian is a movie all about shock value and that shock factor and giving the audience a wild horror movie. And on that level, it really delivers. I would definitely recommend, if you could, seeing this with a packed audience. I know that's not the easiest thing in the world to just get a bunch of people to fill out a movie theater, or obviously find a showtime that has all the seats nearly sold out. But to have this experience with other moviegoers like I had a nearly sold out showing, it was fun to see everyone else's reactions and just enjoy it together. I could nitpick the pacing, I could nitpick the characters. I feel like it delivered on what it was setting up. A horror movie that's a fun time. I'm gonna give Barbarian a B-. This is definitely one that I'm going to recommend to other people, and I want to see other people's reactions too. And if you have seen Barbarian, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching this review, and if you did enjoy it, consider giving it a like as well as subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell to be notified whenever new videos like this go live. As always, look forward to a bunch more videos coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.